What's up guys, Travis here from Outdoors with Travis. We're at Magnum Archery today for another awesome bow build, the Hoyt RX8, their 2024 Carbon Bow. This specific RX8 is a 70-pound option. It's got a brace height of 6 1/8 inches, a total weight of 4 pounds on the bare bow. You're looking at draw length options of 25 to 30 inches, and it's got an ATA speed rating of 342 feet per second. Let's get building this bad boy. So with any flagship bow, especially this RX8 Carbon Bow, what you put on the bow is going to aid in the shooting experience and overall experience. So I'm putting the tight spot 7-arrow quiver, but I only ever run 5 arrows. I've got the PSE Black Mountain Slider single pin sight. It's worked well for me in the past, and that's what I'm going to put on the bow for today. As usual, I've got my Quattro Velagos, a 15-inch front bar and a 10-inch sidebar, and I just added the red weights to complement the beautiful red string on this specific RX8. And then I have the Hoyt SL sidebar mount, keeping everything nice and streamlined. For arrows, for this bow build, my last bow build, the arrows were really heavy, 571 grains, and it starts making the bow look like it's slow, even though it's not. So I've built some new arrows at 431 grains, just so we can start getting relevant speed readings out of these bows. Last but not least, I've got the QAD Hunter Ultra Rest already on the bow. We've tuned it a little bit, but there is some playing around that we still need to do. But for time-saving purposes, we already got it on the bow and did a fine tune on it. I really would have liked to have tried an inline Picatinny sight. There just wasn't time to organize one, but in the future I'd like to give it a go. I think for travel purposes, taking it off and putting it on, it would be really nice. But nonetheless, this sight that I'm going to put on now is more than good enough to get us to that 100 yards or 80 yard distance. Just like its little brother, the Alpha X, it also has the HBX exact cams with 1/4 inch draw length adjustments, making it super tunable to your draw length, making it specific for you. Right, just getting that SL sidebar mount on. Really like this thing when I put on that Alpha X. I really enjoy how everything was nice and neat and tidy on the bow. Get it nice and tight. Another thing that I really like about the Alpha X and the RX8 that's new to both of the bows is the integrated kickstand rest on the cam, protecting the string from any dust or sand or anything when you put the bow down in the dirt. Be it when you're trying to take a photo with your animal, or you simply want to rest the bow while you're getting some water or something. Now that protects the string while you do that. So as much as this probably aids the little stabilizer / shock vibration absorber, might aid in overall vibration, I do prefer a longer stab setup, as most of you know. But what is interesting is in this bow, through the limb pocket and cam improvements, they've managed to reduce hand shock by 38.5%, which is a massive improvement from a 2023 bow to a 2024 bow. So you'll notice the fletchers have changed. I've gone for the bone-in X veins, not only for the shape, but also the color. When we start pushing out to those 60, 70, 80 yard shots, those other fletchers just wouldn't have been visible for the camera. So a bit of a twofold there of why I changed them. But overall, not only do I think they're going to perform awesome, but I think they look awesome as well. First thing I want to do before I even paper tune now with all the equipment on it or the gear on it, I want to balance the bow, making sure that when I punch that bow out, it is as stable as possible. But what I also want to do is take this grip off. I'm not a fan of a rubber grip. I feel like it makes me torque the bow a little, so we're going to just take that off quick. Okay, this is crazy that bubble is dead center. It felt super balanced. Oh, that draw cycle is super smooth. Very nice. So I'm not even going to fiddle. I even have my Allen key here in the pocket ready to move that sidebar, but I'm not even going to fiddle. That bubble is staying dead center throughout the shot process, or at least once I'm at full draw. What I do want to start doing now is getting this paper tune dialed, making sure we're getting bullet holes. run it through the chrono, get the speed, and then we're ready to take this bad boy out into the wild and get it on a long distance range, sighting it up to 100 yards. Looking good, looking good. Little bit of a left tear, but this one didn't have any indication of that. So I definitely want to just shoot another arrow, make sure. I don't know which one's which. Was it this one? Because that's a horrible shot. It was that one. Getting big nasty tears for some reason when our first one was perfect. So I'm going to shoot one more, then we're going to have to make adjustments. Okay, I know for a fact that I let that arrow go perfectly, which means there's adjustments that have to be made. So let's make them. Okay, I've taken about 8 or 9 paces back, and that will really show us what's happening with this arrow. So I just want to see, or get a better reading of what kind of tear we're getting so we can tune it accordingly. Right, that was an inconclusive shot, so let's try that again. Let's have a look. Right, so definitely this was the tear we were getting earlier when we were closer. So now we can make those adjustments that we need to. Slight adjustment on that rest, and we give it another go. Exactly the same tear, if not just a little bit better, but we definitely have to tune it just a little bit more. And already it's looking better than all the rest. We leave it at that. So I've been handing this bow back to Angie this whole time while we're filming this video, but I forgot, and one of the biggest selling points on the new cams this year, integrated kickstand rest. Can put this on the ground. I don't have to worry about scratching the cams or damaging the strings. It's got that little bump with a rubber ring on it to protect it. Nose buttons on, last chest. Bullet hole, guys, absolute bullet hole. And that was 8 or 9 paces back. Let's put it through the chrono, check what kind of speeds we get in. Right, before we get into this, obviously during this video we said that we changed the vanes to now a Bonin X vane, which is a 3.5 inch vane. So that means it's actually gone up in weight from 431 to 440 grains of arrow. So let's just check what kind of speeds we're getting out of this before we hit the range. 70 pounds, 28 inch draw length, 440 grain arrow out of the RX8 from Hoyt. (282 feet per second. 282 feet per second. Coming from a super heavy arrow for the past 2 years, I haven't seen over 262 on the chrono for a long time. So to see 283 or 284 is, or 282, sorry, is quite nice. Let's just see if we get a consistent reading. Duplicate 1, which means it's the exact same reading. 282 feet per second. I always like to shoot in threes, so let's just do a third one. Duplicate 2, so that's the exact same reading 3 times in a row, 282 feet per second. 282 feet per second. I've been at the range for about an hour now, just setting up, getting camera equipment ready, and I've had some awesome engagements. One with a fellow archer, that was a cool experience, and then I had some kids run up and asking questions about this. I took the last 30 minutes just to engage with them, showing them the Raven R26X, to showing them the RX8 itself. But you really need to take your time with these kind of engagements. These kids were probably 8 and 10 years old, and this experience today could shape them into archers in the next 12 to 15 years. So I love taking that time to engage with people that are interested in this kind of stuff. But we're going to start at 30, push all the way up to 55. Then we're going to choose our sight tape that's correct, matching up with our distances that we indicate on our blank sight tape. And then we're going to try and push this bow out nice and far.
Yes, I've seen your YouTube channel, I think.
We'll check it out when we arrive there. Listen.
Alright, we're not going for pinpoint accuracy, we are just pushing as fast as possible to 60 without breaking or damaging arrows. I'm now guessing 40. A little low, but not bad. I'm on the 40 target. Let's guesstimate 50. On butt. Right, so we're going to be shooting at the big butt right at the back over here. That's a 55-yard shot, and then I've put a little marker for 60 yards. If we're hitting at 55, we're going to punch out to 60 and spend a ton of time at 60 until we're hitting a really nice grouping, and then we're going to do that side tape. Let's have a look at those. So we just pulled those arrows out at 55 yards, and they were literally carbon on carbon. They were so close together that I actually had I thought I had one arrow low and one arrow in the center, and when I got down to that target they were literally on top of each other. That was 55 yards and we're still shooting low, which means I'm going to move to 60 and bring that sight up. I'm clearly just not used to super light and fast arrows. I've always been running 571 grains at about 260 feet per second. But that RX8 is just beautiful. I normally struggle with a light bow, so I've got a little bit of a tremor in my hand, and so a heavy bow helps me dull that tremor down completely. Okay, we're on paper, so that's good. We are in the red ring center, but red ring. So again, we can bring this up or down. Definitely must have pulled that shot because they're right next to each other, yet I moved the sight. So let's pull the arrows and we keep going. A little high and we're in the color. That's two on card. Right, so we are consistently grouping and hitting that card at 60 yards. We've already sighted it in at 30 yards. Now I'm going to actually use the CBE sticky sight tapes that you can buy from any pro shop. with the CBE gauge tool, line it up to 30 and 60. But something that I'm going to do differently, because last time I wasn't consistent up to 100, I could only get it consistent up to 80, is I'm actually going to find the tape that works, and then just with pencil draw an 80 and a 90 and a 100 yard line onto my blank side tape and test those before I go and stick this on, because once I stick it on, getting off is a bit of a mission. Right, so we're just going to find which letter lines up perfect, or number. This one's a number. Closest is number 5. There, I'm going to make a mark for 70. Going to make a mark for 80 once I line everything up. Right, so we've got our pencil markings from that side tape, and there isn't a 70 on this range. It goes from 60 to 80. So I'm actually just going to go straight to that 80 marking and see if that side tape is even close to being right. Hopefully we don't explode arrows. Okay, so it's a bit left, but the height is absolutely perfect. All right, take 2 at 80. Again, a little left, and I felt like the bubble was pretty perfect, so let's just try once more. I think that might just be on card. Right, so I just made 2 additional pencil marks. I grabbed that side tape and I did a 90 and a 100. And I'm going to just aim for the center of the butt at 100 to see if we're in that ballpark figure. That looked really good. Looked good, looked good. A little bit right, but the line looks perfect. I must just say, guys, wow, wow, wow. A 30-inch axle to axle bow, grouping at 80 and 100 yards. Super easy to tune, build, and sight in. Been a great shooting experience overall. I do think though that the Alpha X and the RX8 is for 2 different kind of archers slash bow hunters, and I really think we need to do a bow versus bow video, not sighting in, just specs and who these bows are actually for. I really loved playing around, setting up this bow, and got to the point where I'd be super ready to get into the bush and hunt with it. Thanks so much for watching, really appreciate your time. That's the RX8 Carbon from Hoyt. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.